Hello, sixth grade students, and welcome back to math class with Mrs. Hauk. Remember, we are doing our blue math book, Engage New York. We are in Module 3, and we're looking at Lesson 3. If you look at your book, I think on the bottom corner it should say S11. Your homework, if you recall, was this page right here. We did the first one together, and we circled ones I wanted you to do. If you haven't underlined the word integer, go ahead and underline that word integer. Let's see. Do you remember what the word integer means? What's an integer? Well, I want you to put a little arrow right here, and I want you to write the word number. An integer is a number. And remember, that number can be positive or negative. So go ahead and write both of those down. If you need to pause your screen, remember, go ahead and pause your screen so that you can keep up with me. All right, so we are asked to write an integer for all of these following situations. Remember, an integer is a number, positive, negative, or even or zero. Let's put that on here. Okay, we're going to jump to B because that's where we stopped. B said a deposit of $225. Deposit is my hint word. If I deposit money into my account, that's a good thing. And so my answer is going to be positive 225. C, 14,000 feet above sea level. Above is a positive thing, so you should have put a positive 14,000. D, a temperature increase of 40. Increase is another positive word, so we're going to put a positive 40. E, a withdrawal. If I withdraw money from my account, that's a negative thing, so we're going to put a negative 225. And the last one where you had to write your integer was 14,000 feet below. The hint is below. Below is a negative word, so I'm going to write negative 14,000. Okay, so quickly go ahead and grade your assignment. See how you did. There's a little smudge right here. That should be a positive 14,000, not a negative. Okay, next, problems 2, 3, and 4. We had to read these problems, and we had to circle which one or both matched the story. So for example, problem number 2 said a whale is 600 feet below the surface of the ocean. Which one of these, or both, says the same thing? Let's look at the first one. The depth of the whale is 600 feet from the ocean's surface. Okay? So I look at that question, I'm like, well, it doesn't really give me enough examples, so I'm going to make a little picture here. Ocean, the depth of the whale. Oh, a whale. A whale has to be underneath the ocean, and if he's at 600 feet, and I know that sea level is at 0, this is obviously a negative, so that one has to be true. B, the whale is negative 600. Oh, dear. It has 2 negatives. We can't have a negative 600 and a below, so that one has to be wrong. Okay, let's go to number 3. Number 3 says the elevation of the bottom of an iceberg with respect to sea level is given as negative 125. All right, remember, here's sea level. It's 0. So the iceberg is sticking down here somewhere like this. Okay, and it says it's at negative 125. All right, the iceberg is 125. Oh, that says above. That one's not true. Let's look at B. The iceberg is 125 feet below. Oh, that's negative. Correct. And the last one, number 4. Alex's body temperature decreased by 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Decreased. That's going to be a negative. Alex's body temperature dropped. Ooh, that's a negative when you drop, so that's true. B, the integer negative 2 represents the change in Alex's body temperature in degrees of Fahrenheit. Negative 2, that makes negative. Both of those are true. Okay, so what I'd like to do here real quick is I'd like to do a little review of some things here. You will notice here I have some number lines. Okay, remember these are called tick marks. Okay, what I'd like to do is we're going to see if we can make a number line that's going to be able for us to plot points with these 2 numbers. If I would give you a positive 35 and a negative 45. And I want to plot, let's take this away so you can focus here. I want to plot these two numbers on my number line. Right now my number line has tick marks. There's no numbers. And if I'm looking at my number line, I don't think I could use, remember here's my word, scale. I don't think the scale I could use is counting by ones. Let's just check. So my positive number is going to go on the right side, positive 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm not going to be able to count by ones. What if I did twos? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. No, I can't count by twos either. Remember, a scale is what we're going to count by. Oh, both of these numbers end in a 5. So let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30. Oh, so let's count by fives. The scale I'm going to use is 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And let's see, this would be negative 5, negative 10. All right, so let's keep going here. Negative 15, negative 20, negative 25, negative 30, negative 35, negative 40, and negative 45. So the scale that I decided to count by, my scale was counting by fives. I was able to find positive 35, and I was able to find negative 45. Let's look at the next number line. What scale do you think we should use? What should we count by if I would give you the numbers, let's say negative 10 and positive, how about 18? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't really want to count by ones. The next thing I could try is twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Let's go ahead and add another mark here. We could do 18. I could count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Let's count by twos backwards. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10, negative 12, negative 14, negative 16. So negative 10 would be here. Positive 18 would be here. What was the scale that I used? The scale that I used was counting by twos. Okay, so you're going to need to know what a scale is. Okay, and you need to know how to count by it. If you're listening to the video right now, I'm going to give you a secret word. We're seeing if you're listening to my secret word. The secret word is frog. F-R-O-G. I'm going to ask you in your assignment today if you heard my secret word. Okay, last thing that I'm going to show you is I'm going to ask you today to look at 3 numbers. And with those, I want you to make up a story, any story you want. I have sea level. Well, we know sea level means 0. And I have a negative 20 and a positive 70. A story. Okay, here was my story. A scuba diver started off swimming at sea level and then dove down 20 feet. While he was swimming, a bird flew over 70 feet above sea level. So I was able to make a very short story that it contained sea level, negative 20, and 70. I'm going to ask you today to make up your own story using some numbers. They're not going to be these exact numbers, but they're going to be very similar. Okay, some things to remember. What is an integer? An integer, remember, is a number. The other thing I want you to remember is scale. What does scale mean? Scale means how are you going to count on your number line? Are you going to count by ones, twos? We could even count by fives. I guess you could always count by tens or even hundreds. Okay, how are you going to count? We counted by fives on this one and twos on this one. Okay, once your video is over, you're going to go and fill out your Google form that is attached for your homework, and then you are to have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all on Monday.